Hey all, do you remember Sid? He wasn't a topper, but he had one thing, the willingness to try. Last week, Sid decided to understand the concept of binary files. For that, he spends a couple of days learning. And guess what? He did it. Now Sid knows one thing, learning is not complete until you practice. Today, he has taken up a new challenge, solving previous year questions on binary files. And like him, we all are going to do the same in today's video. For that, let's understand the format of the question. You will surely get one 5-mark question in which you need to write 3 user-defined functions which are based on any 3 operations of binary file. Along with that, you will be getting 1-mark question which can be of the form of MCQ, assertion and reasoning, or fill the statement. In some of the previous year sample papers, we had 2-mark questions also, which was based on the theory question covering the concept of files. If Sid can do it, so you can. So let's check out the questions from one of the sample question papers. Here it is. Read the question carefully. We need to add the records to the binary file name record.bin. And what data we need to add? Salesperson ID, which will be of integer data type. Name will be string, product sold is also string, and quantity will be in the form of float. We will be creating list out of that content, and that list will be written to the binary file. So here is the first function. The name of the function is add record. According to the instruction, here is the name of the function. We have to keep on adding the records to the binary file. That's why we will be opening the file in the append mode, not in the write mode. Otherwise, if we open already existed file in the WB mode, the previous data will get erased. Alright then, here is the first step to import pickle module. In the second step, we will be opening the file using open function. Here are the details that we are gonna take input. Salesperson name is string, that's why we are not using any function because by default it will be string. Even product sold is also of string data type and quantity will be of float. Out of that we are gonna create one list and that list will get dumped into the file using dump function. In the exam you need not call the function, but if you want to practice it you must call it, then only it will get executed. Alright, directly let's execute this code in the VS Code. Make sure you write the file name as mentioned in the question. So let's click on this button. First we need to enter salesperson ID which is of the integer form. Then the name of the salesman. Here is the name of the product. Let's enter some quantity. In this way, record got added successfully. Generally you need to write this program in the menu driven format. But we need to write only function. That's why according to exam point of view, we are designing the function. Now let's check out whether this file got created or not. The name of the file is record.bin. Here it is. Let's look at the content of the file. We open this file in the text editor. That's why somehow we could read the text but not the numbers. If you want to add some more records, execute the program once again. To keep it simple, we did not include any loop in this code. In this way, the first task is done. Now let's move ahead to the second task. The name of the function is update file. Here we need to update a record based on the salesperson ID. Generally, we perform the different operations based on the unique item. Here, ID will be unique for the salesperson. If we get that salesperson ID, we need to update quantity for that salesperson. That updated record we need to write in a separate binary file. The name of the file is extra.bin. Let's continue and read the question. The records which are not updated also have to be written to this file. Means if we find it, we will update and write. If we don't find also remaining records, we need to update to the extra.bin. And if we couldn't find, we need to print message also. Here we are working with 2 files, record.bin and extra.bin. So let's try to understand the code. According to the instruction, here is the function. We need to enter salesperson ID for which we will be updating the quantity. So that input we are taking it here. Even we are taking input of new quantity. If you don't want to take this input, even directly you can take later. We are taking the data from the record.bin and storing it in a extra.bin. That's why this file will get open in a RB mode and extra.bin file will get open in a WB mode. That we are doing it here. The file pointer for this is fin and the file pointer is this for fout. In the previous video, we discussed the importance of try except block while loading the data from the binary file. Otherwise, we get the exception end of file. Within infinite while loop, we are loading the content using load function. That is getting stored in a variable record. Here the name of the file is record and the variable name is also record. So you can change it, make it data. Alright, I know you are smart enough. You can change the variable name. That is not a big deal. Let's move ahead and check the code. From this binary file, we got the list name record. In that list, at the 0th index, we have ID, at the first index name, at the second index product sold, and at the third index, we have quantity sold. We need to compare this input ID with the ID from the list which we got from the record file. If they are equal, we need to update the quantity. So, new quantity also we have taken as input. And in the list, we know the quantity is at the index 3. That's why we are initializing it. It means for the specified ID, the quantity got updated. In this way, we got this updated list. Now, we need to write it to the extra.bin. For that, we are using this dump function. Here is the name of the updated list and this is the file pointer of the extra.bin file. According to the question, the records which are not updating, that also we need to write. That's why here is the else part. We are dumping the remaining records to the extra.bin file. In this way, records are stored in the extra.bin file. But in the question, it is mentioned that if we couldn't find the salesperson ID, we need to print the message. To check that status, we are initializing one variable found is equals to 0. If it will get updated, then we will change it to 1. So this process will go on till we have the records. When we will reach at the end of the file, we will not have anything to load. We will come to the exception. Without finding the ID, if we reach to the end of file, it means what? We couldn't get that salesperson ID. In that case, this found also will not update. It will remain as 0. If it is 0 means that salesperson ID is not found. And finally, we will close these two files. This program can be done in a different way. Whichever way you feel easy, you can go ahead with it. Hope you understood the code. Try it yourself. Let's execute and check whether it is working correctly or not. Alright, the program is waiting for the salesperson ID. Let's enter 1. Now we need to enter the new quantity because we have to update the quantity of the product sold. Let's enter 100. There is no problem. It got executed. But how we will come to know? We need to read the file for that. Program got executed without any problem. Now let's check this extra.bin file. Look at the file content of extra.bin. We have two records in record.bin that we got in extra.bin also. Because we need to update and write, and those who are not getting updated also we need to write. If you want to check the content, write the program for reading the extra.bin file. In this way, second task is also done. Now let's read the third task. In this, we need to write the user-defined function display file which will take SID as a parameter. See, we have to read the data from the extra.bin file. But there is a condition. We need to display the data of that salesperson whose ID matches with the argument passed in the function. It means we have to display the data of that particular salesperson whose ID we will send as a parameter. Alright, then we need to send the parameter. That's why we are taking input and sending that sales ID to the user-defined function. Let's check out the remaining code. We are opening the extra.bin file in the read mode. Using try except block, we are handling the end of file exception. Inside the infinite while loop, we are loading the content of the extra.bin file. Actually, we got whole file content, but that we are not going to print. For the specified salesperson ID only we are going to print. For that, we are comparing. In the list we got the data and we know at the 0th index we have ID in the list. So using the index we are comparing both, and if both are equal we will print that whole record. We know we are using this variable to keep track of the status whether we found it or not. So when we will reach to the end of the file we will come to the exception, and if the found variable remains 0 it means we did not get that ID. Because if we get this status will get updated to 1, it will not remain as 0. If it is 0 means we did not get it. So accordingly we are printing the message. Finally we will close the file. Here the checking part is similar to the previous function, that is update. Alright, now it's time to execute this code too. Let's enter the salesperson ID as 1 because we have updated the quantity for the same salesperson. Then look at the output. We can even confirm that quantity got updated. It means with the help of this code we achieved 2 tasks. We got to know that quantity got updated and we are printing the record for the salesperson ID 1. You can anytime modify this program according to you. Even you can write while true loop outside and try inside. In that case you can write break in the except block. Alright, it's time to proceed and check some more questions. Here it is. In this also we need to create one list and we need to write this data in the binary file name election.bin. In the list the first data item is party ID which is of integer data type. The second one is party name which will be of obviously string. The third is candidate name, it is also string. And the fourth one is total vote. Let's check the data type of the total vote. The data type is not mentioned but the votes will be of integer data type. Now let's proceed and check the functions which we need to write. Here also we need to write 3 functions as the previous question. First we need to accept the record and add it to the file. Then we need to search based on party name and we need to update the record. Here we need to update in the same file. We are not going to create another file for it. So if you can do it yourself, give it a try. Alright, then here we are in the VS Code. According to the instruction, the function is ready. The file is open in the AB mode. We are not opening the file in the WB mode because if we write the data, the existing data will get erased. Here are the details what we need to enter. Let's create one list of it and then we are dumping it using dump function. Finally, we will close the file. Let's call this function, execute the program and check the output. Let's enter some random data. It will be good to add some more records. It's time to check the content of the file. Here it is. It means the program is working fine. Alright, let's check out the second user defined function. The name of the function is search. We are passing parameter as party name. For that party name we need to display the record. It's easy, give it a try. We need to pass the parameter as a party name. So we will be taking party name and passing that parameter to the function search. Let's check out the code for the search function. First of all, we are opening the file in the RB mode. Again, using try except block, we are managing the end of file error. To load whole data of the file, we are using infinite while loop. Using load function, the data is getting loaded in a variable name record. You can give any name. Look at the list which we have created. The party name is at the index 1. So let's compare the party name parameter which we have sent with the party name from the record. If both are equal, we are printing that whole record. And to track the status of the record found or not, we are using this variable found which will get updated to 1 if we find the record. Otherwise, it will remain 0. If it remains 0 means we did not get such party name. So let's execute this program and check whether we are getting the correct output or not. Let's enter the party name. Look at the output. We got the name of the candidate for that specific party. Enter some more records and try for different party names. Moving ahead to the third function, we need to update candidate name and total votes based on party ID. In this, it is not written that we are passing that party ID as a parameter. So what we will do? We will take that party ID in the function itself. With the hope that you know process of updating data in a binary file, I am proceeding with the code. But I would recommend you to watch the previous video in which we have discussed all the operations on binary file. Alright, let's discuss the code. According to the instruction, this function is ready. We are opening the file in the RB plus mode because we are reading the file as well as we will edit the record and write it back. With that, the file will open in the read mode, but it will allow us to write also. We are not sending this party ID as a parameter, so we must take it inside the function. Try except block, we know. We are using infinite while loop to load the data. So for that we are using load function. It means we got the first list. The name of the list is nothing but record. In the file we have stored this list in which the first is ID and the second element is nothing but party name. The third element was candidate name and the fourth element was total votes. We need to compare this input party ID with the ID from the record. That we are doing using conditional if. At the 0th position we have ID. So record of 0 is equals to PID. It means we got the required ID. Now we need to update two things. The first is candidate name, that is at the index 2, and the second one is total votes, that is at the index 3. So directly we are taking and initializing it. You can separately take these two quantities and write the variable name here. Alright, the job of edit is done. Now we need to write this updated list back to the binary file. For that we will be using two functions. The first is tell and the second one is seek. Hope you know the working of these two functions. Tell will tell the current position of the file pointer, which is 0 at the beginning. It means this is at the 0th position. After loading the data, the file pointer will updated. This is nothing but file. Initially the file pointer will be at the 0th position. So what's the value for position? It will nothing but 0. After that we loaded first record. It means the first list got loaded. So this position will get updated to somewhere here. We did the task of modifying the list. Now we need to write it at its original position. But we have updated somewhere here. Now we need to go back to the position 0 again. For that we will take the help of seek. That's why before dumping the record in the file, we will tell seek function to take the position and move the pointer to that position itself. So what this seek is doing? We are telling seek to take the position which is 0. So it will move the pointer to the 0th location. It means we are at the original position. Now we will dump the record. This process will keep on happening because we need to check for PID. If we couldn't find and we reach to the end of file, we will come to the exception. And this process, you know, we will print the message if we couldn't find any PID. So this is how we update the record in the binary file. Hope you understood this code. Here there are two extra steps we are taking using tell and seek function. Otherwise the rest of the code is similar to the previous questions. It's time to execute and check the output. Alright, let's enter the party ID. Here we need to enter a new candidate name. Let's enter some value for the new votes. In this way, the record got updated. We can check it. Directly go to this file and let's check. Look at the file content. The name got updated. It means our program is working fine. Alright, here is the 36th program. We already discussed 4 programs based on binary file. Now you need to give it a try. Here is the data that we need to write in the binary file. In this question, it is not mentioned whether we have to write data in the form of list or dictionary. But to keep it simple, we will consider list. Let's proceed to the question. Here is the first one. We need to write a function to input data of a candidate and append it in a binary file. This is so simple. We need to take candidate ID, candidate name, designation and experience. Note the data type. Hope you have tried it yourself. The process is same. We are opening the file in the AB mode, taking the data, creating one list and dumping it to the file. Then let's execute this program. Alright, let's enter some random data. Here is candidate ID. I would suggest you to enter some more records. Let's check the candidates file. Look at the file content. Data got written. Alright, it's time to check the next task. We have to write one function in which we will be updating data of the candidates whose experience is greater than 10 years. And we will be changing the designation to senior manager. Just now we discussed how to update record in a binary file. Hope you will understand this code too. The rest of the code will be same. The difference will be the conditional statement and the update statement. We are opening the file in the RB plus mode. Here is the try except block. Using infinite while loop and load function, we are loading the content. Now what is the condition? The experience should be more than 10 and the experience we are getting at the index 3. For that record we need to change the designation which is at the index 2. It will be senior manager. Hope you understood the usage of tell and seek function and the rest of the code is similar. Then let's execute this code too. Look at the output. We got the message record updated. We are not taking any input, that's why code will not wait. It will directly change the designation to senior manager for those who have experience greater than 10. And in our case, we had experience greater than 10. That's why the designation got updated as senior manager. If we had some more records with the given criteria, it would have changed. Alright, let's proceed to the final and third task. We need to read data from the binary file and display the data of those candidates who are not senior managers. Means we don't have to display senior managers. Apart from senior managers, we need to display data. For that, you need to enter some records. Alright, let's discuss the code. We are opening the file in the RB mode, loading the data, and here is the condition. The candidate's designation should not be senior manager. That's why we are using not equal to operator. The designation is at the index 2. If it is not senior manager, we are printing the details. We are using fstring to format the data. You can format it in a simple way also. We are printing candidate ID, name, designation and experience which is at the index 0, 1, 2 and 3 respectively. To keep track whether we have found the data or not, we can use this variable, but it's not necessary. Now let's execute this program too. Look at the data. I have added some random data, so we are getting it. These are not senior managers. That's why we are getting details of those candidates which are not senior managers. There is a sport.dat file. It contains records of the following structure: sports name, team name and number of players. We need to write one function, copy data, which will read the content from the file. After reading the content from the sports file, we need to copy the records to the basket.dat file. And only those records will get copied with the sports name basketball. After copying data from sports to basket file, the function should also return the number of records that are copied to the basket file. Let's try to understand the code according to the instruction function got created. For this program, we are dealing with two binary files. The sport file is getting open in the read mode and the basket file will get open in the WB mode. As you can see, fp1 is the file handle for the sports file and fp2 is the file handle for the basket file. When we load the data, we use try except block to handle exception. Using infinite loop, we are loading the data from the sports file. Using load function, we are loading the data from the sports file. File data we got in the form of list. We are interested in the sports name which is at the index 0. So here is the condition. If data of 0 is equals to basketball. If the sports name is basketball, we need to copy those records to the basket file. For that, we are writing dump function with fp2 file handle. As we need to count the total number of copied record, for that we have used one variable count which will get incremented. When the loading of the data gets over, exception will raise and with the except block we are closing the file. In the function, it is mentioned that the function should return the number of records. For that, we are using return function and returning the count of the copied record. Based on some sample data, if we look at the output, number of records are 2. Because there are 2 records with basketball sports name. Hope you understood this code. Let's read the question. Here is the binary file inventory. This file stores information using tuple. The first element of the tuple is product ID, second is product name, third is quantity and the fourth one is price. We will be writing the function expensive products which reads the content from this binary file and displays the detail of the product with a price higher than 1000. Along with that, we need to count such products also. Look at the sample data and look at the output. We are getting the product with product ID 1 and 3 because for product ID 1 it is 5000 and for product ID 3 it is 2000. That's why we are getting count 2. Let's try to understand the code. According to the instructions, we need to write the function name. Let's open the file in the RB mode. Here is our try except block to avoid exception. Using infinite while loop, we will be loading the content of the file. For that, we have used the load function. The file data is in the form of tuple. According to the structure of the tuple, we are getting product price at the index 3. So with if we are checking if data of 3 is greater than 1000, we are printing the product ID. So according to the instructions, we will be formatting it. Along with that, we need to count the expensive product. For that, we have taken one variable which will get incremented. And using print function, we are printing the expensive products. Hope you understood this code. In the additional practice question paper, there is one more question based on binary file. The file name is flight. The structure of each record looks like this. We need to write function copy record. It copies all those records from flight where the source is Delhi and the destination is Mumbai. And that records we are copying in a new file. The name of the file is record. Here is the code. We are working on two files. Let's open flight binary file in the RB mode and record in the WB mode. Here is our try except block. Using infinite while loop, we will be loading the content from the flight file using the file pointer fin. Look at the structure of the file. According to the instruction, source should be Delhi and the destination should be Mumbai. Source is at the index 3 and the destination is at index 4. So with if we are checking data of 3 is equals to Delhi and data of 4 should be Mumbai. If it satisfies the condition, we are writing those records in the record file. For that, we are using dump function and here is the file pointer of the record file. In the exit block, we are closing both the files. Hope you understood this code. There is a optional part. Here is the name of the binary file book. The file content of the book file is in the form of dictionary. Now let's read the question. We need to write the user defined function find book, which is accepting parameter and that parameter is price. We need to display all those records from the book file where the book price is more than or equal to the price passed as an parameter. Let's try to understand the code. According to the instruction, here is the function with the mentioned parameter. Let's open the file in the read mode. Here is the try except block. Using infinite while loop, we are loading the content of the file. Look at some random data. Here is the key and we have values in the form of list. We are interested in the price which is at the index 2. As we need to print the details of the books including key and value, we will be iterating over key value using items function. Let's store the price which is at the index 2 in one variable. Now we are comparing both the values, the parameter which we passed and the price which we have in the file. And the condition is that whatever book price we have in the dictionary should be greater than the price which we pass through the parameter. And if it satisfies, we are printing both key and value of the dictionary. Suppose we are passing price as 200. In the first dictionary, the price is 300. It is greater than the passed value. So we are getting this output. Along with the questions where you need to write the code, we have one theory question also which is for 2 marks. Differentiate between R plus and W plus mode. Look at the sum of the differences. In case of R plus mode, the primary function is reading. The file will open in the read mode but it provides write operation too. Whereas in case of W plus mode, the primary function is writing. Look at some of other differences. If we open the file in the R plus mode, file must exist. Otherwise, you will get error. Whereas in case of W plus mode, if file doesn't exist, it will get created. If already existed file gets open in the W plus mode, previous data will get overwritten. But this is not the case with the R plus mode. How are text file different from the binary files? Look at the answer from the marking scheme. The extension of the text file is .txt. Data got stored in the ASCII format, which is in the human readable form. There is one more difference. In case of text file, we have end of line character. Now what about binary files? The extension of the binary file is .dat. Data got stored in the binary form. That's why it is not in the human readable format. Look at this question. It's a question number 10. In this we need to complete the code by writing missing statement. So let's try to understand the code first. In the first statement we are importing pickle module. In the second step we are opening the file in the WB mode. Using dump function we are writing one list to the file. And after writing the data to the file we are closing it. Now let's check the next statement. We are opening the same file in the read mode. We already discussed in the previous video, to write data to the file, we use dump function of the pickle module. But to read data from the binary file, we use load function. Here is a print statement in which we need to complete the code. Let's read the instruction. Access the second element, that is 4, and multiply it by 2. We have written one list to the binary file with the elements 3, 4, 5, 9. We can easily access the list using index. 4 is at index 1. But if we see the code, the load is also not included. It means first we have to load the data and then access the second element and multiply it by 2. We know the syntax of load function. It works with the file object. So the name of the variable is file object. Let's write the load function. In this way, we got the list. Generally, we stored it in a variable, but here there is no arrangement. No problem. Now let's access the element 4, which is at the index 1, and multiply it by 2. So this will be our statement which we need to fill it here. Hope you understood this explanation. We got the question in the form of assertion and reasoning. So let's read it. In binary files, no specific encoding scheme is followed. The interpretation of bytes depends on the file format. And you know this statement is true. Just now we have seen in the VS Code, when we open the binary file using text editor, we could see only string part. Other part we couldn't see. So there is no specific encoding scheme like ASCII code or another scheme like UTF-8, 16 or 32. It completely depends on the file format. Now what's the reasoning? Python objects have a specific structure which must be maintained while storing or accessing them. Python provides a special module called pickle module for this. Yes, this is also true. We have discussed in the previous video that pickle module provides pickling as well as unpickling to maintain the structure. In pickling, object will get converted to the byte stream. And the reverse of it is unpickling. Byte stream again will get converted to objects. So if we look at the options, the first option is correct. Both assertion and reason are true, and the reason R is the correct explanation of assertion. Here is the question. Let's read it. Which of the following functions changes the position of file pointer and return its new position? Out of the given options, the correct choice is seek. Seek function changes the position of the file pointer. There are lot of questions based on the file modes which you will be getting in the section A. So I would suggest to go through this video and check out all the questions. There is a dedicated video which covers the MCQs from the section A, which are generally based on the file modes. So I would highly recommend you to go through this video so that you will get an idea of the MCQs which are based on file handling. There are many questions which are based on the functions like seek and tell, which we use in case of binary file. So make sure to check all the questions. Which pickle module method is used to write Python object to a binary file? For writing data to the binary file, we use dump method. So the correct choice is D. And hey, once we conquer PYQS on binary files, we are not stopping here. In the next video, we will continue our journey into CSV files. So stay tuned, stay focused and stay unstoppable. I will see you in the next video.